All right, we're over here working on the Volkswagen today because today's Friday, the day after big snow day, and tomorrow we'll be back working on everything at the shop. But we got a guy here, his name's Fred. Is there something outside, Fred? What the hell is that? Oh, okay. All right, so we got a guy here named Fred that, where do you live, Fred?
I live in Arlington.
Okay, he's over in Arlington, Texas. That's about halfway between here and Fort Worth. And he owns a Mustang, a 67 Mustang fastback that he's doing at home. Let's talk to Fred and see what kind of angles he's got, what situation's going on, and if my friend P can even help him out. Fred?
Well, just having the, every time I go to do something, I think, am I doing it right?
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're scared of doing it because you don't know if you take this off, it might tweak the body there.
Yeah.
And you told me that your doors weren't lining up and all this already anyway, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, if I put something on, how far should I go? I was using weld-through primer and having problems with that, so I don't know if I'm doing that right.
Now, what are you having problems with that? A lot of people ask me about weld-through primer. I don't use weld-through primer. What's your angle on it?
My angle on it was like, well, there's got to be some sort of protection there. Okay. So if you grind
You're working on a car that's almost 50 years old, Fred, and it's still together.
Yeah.
Do you really think the car's going to rust out before your lifetime ends?
I thought that too, Or
yeah, I think it'll
probably stick around long enough. I'll be alive, I guess.
Yeah, I think all this hoopla and this fancy ass bullshit name crap, they take it to the extreme where they're just trying to sell you something you really don't need, Fred. The only thing that I believe in as a product, as far as rust protection, is that Por 15. I mean, you got these other products, you got lizard skin, and you got this, and you got that, okay? Good old Por 15, you just brush it on, you let it go, and you're done, dude.
Yeah,
well, what do you think of that idea,
that's what
Fred?
I've been using it. It works real good for me because I just paint it on the structural pieces, and it works just fine. It looks like it's sprayed on.
Now, you brought some pictures over here for my friend Pete to look at. And I guess this is your rear quarter panel section here. Now you got the whole floor out. I see you did a real good job cleaning that baby up. This is your outer fender right here. This is the inner fender where it stops right here. Maybe overlap weld that if you don't have a flange tool. Let's see, we're looking at your rear quarter panel here. And then this is where our floor extension would go right down here, which is the piece you got outside. I see right here you got a little patch action going on right here. Then this would be your inner fender. Right in here, this line right here is your outer fender, and you had to fix this, I guess. And then this is our outer quarter panel we're looking at right here. Overlap it, you weld that baby in, spot weld it back here, and then you can go ahead and put your floor back in there. This is our rocker panel. If you were going to look inside the rocker panel, that's the rocker panel here, and then this would be the floor in here. You're just going to patch that, am I correct? Yeah, if you can take your cutting wheel or whatever, cut that, cut your spot welds out here, this piece will drop out. This is our frame, this is the other side of the car, right?
Right.
You were telling me you're kind of afraid to mess with the outside of the car. Why, Fred?
Afraid of it warping and not being able to get it in right, or get it where it's protected enough. When I weld it
So your
together.
main concern here is rust protection.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about here? Because let me tell you something, dude. The car will never rust as long as you own it.
Probably not. I'll probably keep it in the garage.
That's the situation people have is they start doing all this work, and when you're looking at all this here, and then you say, oh my God, I'm going to weld that up inside there, and it's going to be bare metal when I weld and stuff, okay? I mean, let's really think about the situation, Fred, okay?
Well, you're probably
How
right.
old are you, bud?
63.
Okay, all right, you're 10 years older than me. All right, that car's going to last forever, dude. Look at the car behind us here. This is a 50-year-old car. Thing's been beat to shit and you know, run through the fucking mill, but guess what? It's still all there, and it's a running, driving fucking car, dude.
Yeah.
Okay? You also said something when you walked in my shop about Mustangs. You said, I wish I didn't own a Mustang. They're junk.
They're junk. They're thin toil.
You didn't really realize that, did you?
Yeah. Well,
Mustangs are literally junk cars. The factory, that when they built those, their intentions were not for you to restore it. Fred, they want to sell it. It's just like any other corporation. All right, they want to sell you something. They don't care if you restore it or not. They got their money. They were built to sell, last 5 or 10 years, and then put them in the junkyard and scrap them out.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a recyclable car. All right, when they built the car, the Mustang that you see back there, you know, it was a bunch of guys. They slapped it together. Wham, bam, thank you, man. Half of the car didn't even have primer on it. It was bare metal. They put the car together in bare metal, and anything that didn't get primer on it, they didn't dip those cars like you see today.
Yeah.
All right, they didn't dip them down into a vat and then come back out. They ran through the thing and sprayed it on there, and bam, it's done, dude.
I had got this. It was in Cincinnati, and 1978, and it was the best car I could find at the time. They had the least amount of rust.
Yeah.
And I took it and sandblasted the hole underneath of it.
Wow.
And painted with black with Emerald black.
Oh, Emerald, there you go.
Yeah, so that was the best.
That's a dangerous
system.
paint.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then you had problems with your trunk lid.
Yeah, the
Go ahead and tell us about that, Fred.
where the curb comes down between the
I'm talking on the side lips there where
side lips.
the body
and then it
lines
comes
are.
down even further to meet the outer fenders.
Uh-huh.
You know, one's high. If you bring it even, the middle's high, and if you take it that down, the ends
What
are
brand was that?
low.
Just some no-name Taiwan brand somewhere out in China?
Yeah, well, it says made in Taiwan. So.
Well, of course it is. They're all made in the same factory, dude. So the situation is yeah, you're going to have situational problems with that. You might be better off trying to get a refund and possibly getting on eBay and trying to find a used original one. That will never fit right. You'll never get that to fit right.
Yeah.
This is what you call a fucking nightmare. Mustang, monster, Frankenstein car that you're trying to put together and make drivable once again.
Yeah. I didn't know how bad they were until I started working on them. They're pretty much cheap. I had
Let me ask you a question, Fred.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question, bud. Do you ever think you're going to finish it in your lifetime? Be honest.
Don't know.
Do you want to finish it in your lifetime?
I want to finish it by the end of the year.
Because you actually came over to see when my friend Pete can get on it for you and finish it out and what kind of price we're going on.
Yeah.
So I didn't really disappoint you when I said I can't take it in. Am I right?
Right.
Or did I?
I didn't think you would be able to do it.
No, I can't do it right now, Fred. I can't do it. I got too much work going on. We got to get the 68 now.
This is true.
Okay. Now, are you looking to paint that thing, finish it out completely? What do you want done to your Mustang?
What I was hoping you could do was just get it to where it would be ready for paint.
Okay, so you want it in primer.
Yeah.
Well, so you don't want to paint it. You're going to paint it.
No, I'm not really sure what the hell I was going to do on that. I was thinking about painting it a top color, say like a white, and then go back and make sure everything, say a year later, make sure everything's not rusting out, and then go ahead and paint it.
Okay. What's your concern is rust? I guess you're so afraid that you're scapulating and you're like, this is rust is like the worst thing in the world to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you paint a car and all of a sudden it starts popping out all over, you know.
Well, if you cut the rust out and fix it, it's not going to rust back, Fred. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, the fear of rust is in you, bud.
Yeah, you got that right.
Let's go look at your panel you got, and then we're going to call it quits, buddy.
Okay.
So we got a guy here that says, you know what, Pete, I'm doing the job the best I can, but I'm afraid it's going to rust and rot out on me. What is the situation? All right, Fred, what do we got here? What's going on, bud?
Well, this is the
obviously this is the
right trunk panel.
This is the right side trunk floor panel.
Gas tank will be here.
Right, this is where our gas tank will be, and then this is our floor. This is our extension, floor extension that goes on in that section I was telling you about, and then of course your fender well would weld right here. What's up, dude? It looks like it's looking pretty good.
Well, see, that my concern is, like I said, the rust part is that, yeah, I grind it because you got to do that to weld. Okay, and should I go ahead and paint this? You know, like put tape here so it stays like that, and then paint the rest of it?
I would go ahead and scuff this down with possibly 180 grit if you want. Scuff it down, and then just go ahead and paint it with your Port 15. Come back and grind these welds down right here, just like you got. Just pop that baby on there and weld it up. And reach up inside there and possibly get it the best you can, Fred, and go down the road and be happy.
And don't put a weld-through primer on that?
I don't use weld-through primer.
Okay.
Okay, weld-through primer to me is useless. You're going to get that hot, the welder's going to turn that cherry red, it's going to melt the metal. How is weld-through primer going to last through that? Tell me how it works, Fred.
Well, according to them, it don't bubble up.
That's a bunch of bullshit, okay?
Yeah. That's
bullshit. I could take a cutting torch and do the same thing, and I guarantee you the primer would be useless. All right. Now, if you want to go out and spend $50,000 on a nice big giant spot welder and do it like the factory, more power to you, Fred. Shake your hand, make a friend. All right.
Okay, Pete.
And you have a great day.
Yep.
Okay.
I was hoping we could be friends.
Well, we are friends.
All right.
We are friends, bud. Okay.
Hi, Pete.
All right. We'll be right back, buddy.
Okay, sir.
So the real situation is Fred's doing a beautiful job on his car. He's taking his time, and he's doing it right. But the other situation is he's afraid of this little word that we call rust. Now, he is working on a Mustang. That's understandable. Mustangs are rotted out rust piece of shits anyway. But when you replace parts with brand new parts, let's put this in our head. The car's 50 years old, all right? It's gonna take another 50 years for it to rust anyway, especially down here in Texas. I tell Fred, you know what? Fix the car, have fun doing it, enjoy what you're doing, and don't worry about the small things in life. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, fixing up Mustangs and not fucking liking it. Well, our buddy Fred never made it back. This is exactly almost 2 years to the date that video was filmed, and we haven't heard back from Fred, so we don't know how Fred's car's doing. He was very, very worried about rust. He was very worried about getting rust and doing all the work that he is going to do to that car and having it rusted out. You come to the point where you got to just tell yourself, look, I'm going to do the best I can do on this thing. I'm going to take all the steps and procedures I can do, and that's all I can do. And I'm going to enjoy the car, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to go out and drive my car eventually. That's what you need to tell yourself, because it's like anything else in life. You can really, really put your mind to a test when you start worrying like a wart. I get a lot of people that call me about rust, and I try to tell them how to take care of it and how to prep it. The product that I found that does the best job is Port 15. If you prep the metal right and you use the Port 15, and I'm talking Port 15 only, I'm not talking about going out and buying the primer and the cleaners and all this other stuff. As far as weld-in primer goes, or whatever you call it, zinc oxide primer, I think it's a bunch of fucking shit. It's a hoax, because once you weld the two pieces of metal together, once the heat is created and melted from the heat of the welder, what's gonna happen? It's gonna burn the primer away from the surface, and you are fucking basically wasting your money on some bullshit that's called weld fucking primer, okay? At the beginning of that video, I kind of showed you, I don't know, there's a lot of people out there that claim they don't read anything in my videos, which, my personal opinion, if you don't read my little, you know, intros and exits and little stuff that I put in there, you're really missing a lot. But that's okay. Using weld primer, all right, let me explain this. I'm just gonna, you know, get down to the point here. Using weld primer actually will ruin a weld. It'll cause splatter. You'll get pots in the weld. You'll get pores in the weld. You will not get an airtight weld. And I don't understand why they call it weld through primer. I don't understand that at all, because I've always been, you know, mind boggled over that fucking expression. And the only thing I can come up with is basically, like I told Fred, is that it's a gimmick and they want you to buy it. So anyway, we wish Fred the best of luck, and don't worry about if the car's ever gonna rust out once you get it done. Because if you do the job properly, it is not gonna rust out. Because if you do the job properly, it's not gonna rust out in your lifetime. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, and trying to help everybody out. But some people just don't see it as helping and doing it the way it should be done, I guess you could say, in that aspect. So we wish Fred the best of luck, and hopefully maybe one day he'll have his car running and driving, and he'll bring it over to SWRNC, and we can do a walk around of Fred and his Mustang over here at SWRNC, Dallas, Texas, Southwest Ride and Custom, home of D.I.Y Auto School. Thank you.